You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife, Prince and Princess Offspring. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yesterday was International Women's Day. You can't fail to have noticed that that was the case. And, of course, it's a global holiday celebrated annually on March the 8th as a focal point in the women's rights movement, bringing attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, violence and abuse against women. It's spurred on by the universal female suffrage movement. It originated from labour movements in North America and Europe during the early 20th century. And essentially, it's a day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women. And for Harry's wife, the supposed empowered, strong, independent feminist, what better way than to celebrate International Women's Day by issuing a release explaining that your daughter has recently been christened and is now known as Princess Lilibet Diana. Yes, the hypocrisy of Harry's wife, perhaps writ larger than ever. Wasn't it the case that when she engaged in the telling of lies in the Oprah Bombshell interview, that she said that she wasn't really bothered about the titles, that in essence they were meaningless to her, yet she's clung on to her own for the last 2 years, uses it left, right and centre as part of triangulating people with it in order to control them, and now is insistent upon her daughter, who was born in the United States, who is essentially a private citizen, being known as a princess. How does that fit with being an independent, feminist and strong woman? What would Gloria Steinem, apparently best buddies with Harry's wife, have to say about that? A Gloria Steinem who is even mentioned on the website for International Women's Day. There is a quote from her that's provided. The website for internationalwomensday.com states, "Collective action and shared ownership for driving gender parity is what makes International Women's Day impactful. Gloria Steinem, world-renowned feminist journalist and activist, once explained, the story of women's struggle for equality belongs to no single feminist, nor to any one organisation, but to the collective efforts of all who care about human rights." So, in order to demonstrate the collective power and achievements of women, the most appropriate thing to do is celebrate the fact that you're insisting on your daughter having a title which she only gets as a consequence of a man, her father, and another man, her grandfather. I don't see anything independent about that. I don't see anything that pertains to feminism either. But of course, it's not a surprise, is it, when it comes to Harry's wife? She'll say one thing and do another, evidencing the hypocrisy that you find with narcissists and especially with her. The fact that she is insistent on the use of this title and for it to be used demonstrates that everything she says about not wanting to be involved with the royal family underlines her hypocrisy. I don't want to be involved with you. I don't want to spend time with you. I don't want to be associated with you, but I'll keep my title and my daughter must have a title also. Laughably hypocritical. The Daily Mail reports via Mark Dewell and Martin Robinson, Prince Harry and Harry's wife today revealed they have started calling their children Archie and Lilibet, Prince and Princess, after secretly christening their daughter in California. So do they not call them by their names anymore? They just shout, "Oi, Prince, come and get your grub." Or, "Yo, Princess, it's bath time." The Sussexes snubbed a British baptism for their youngest daughter and held an Anglican ceremony at their Montecchio mansion for between 20 and 30 friends, including her billionaire godfather Tyler Perry. Harry and Harry's wife apparently invited King Charles, Queen Consort Camilla, and the Prince and Princess of Wales to the California ceremony, but they declined. More on that in a separate video. A statement by the Sussexes referred to the 21-month-old as Princess Lilibet Diana, revealing for the first time that the couple has decided to invoke their right to use princess for Lilibet 6 months after the ascension to the throne of King Charles last September. Archie will be called Prince. Now, another point, of course, is these children, assuming they exist, and of course there are many who think that they do not, but let's assume that they do, live in the United States. The United States doesn't have a monarchy, never has. Even you treacherous colonists, when you fought against us back in the 18th century, decided, no, monarchy's not for us. And instead, you've had a republic and had a president instead. You rejected the concept of a monarchy, which you're entitled to do. And whilst, of course, many Americans are interested in the British royal family, you don't want royalty in your country. Fair enough. But of course, Harry's wife wants that, because of course her narcissism dictates this is appropriate to have this status, because by virtue of this status, she can use this to control people and draw fuel from them by triangulating it with her own Duchess title and that in relation to her children. It also, of course, underpins her absence of emotional empathy, because do you think those children are going to thank her for saddling them with the title of Prince and Princess? Can you imagine the piss-taking that will go on down at their kindergarten or at school when they eventually start that? You're a princess. Prince Archie, ha 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 ha, taking the mick out of them. And of course, children just want to belong. And therefore, as a consequence of being earmarked as different, even though they have nothing to do with the royal family, they don't get to see their grandparents. They don't get to see their aunties and uncles. They haven't been brought up with the protocol associated with them. They don't need to be. They can be private citizens. Yet once again, this is demonstrative of the way that Harry's wife behaves in saying, I don't want that, but I'll cherry pick that, thank you very much. And she does so without any due regard for the impact upon the children. The line of succession has been updated. Shows the sovereign, then number 1, the Prince of Wales, Big Willie Styley, 2, Prince George of Wales, 3, Prince Charlotte of Wales, 4, Prince Louis of Wales, 5, the Duke of Sussex, Ginger Bollocks, and there at number 6, Prince Archie of Sussex, and 7, Princess Lilibet of Sussex, and then 8, the Duke of York and his teddy bears. Furthermore, the hypocrisy of Harry's wife is demonstrative because isn't this the organisation, the institution that she claimed was both racist and oppressive and nearly drove her to suicide? And therefore, she decides that it's appropriate for both of her children to have titles which links them to this institution. If, of course, she truly felt strongly about this institution and the way that it apparently had treated her, although we all know that those are lies, she would have decided, not only are we not going to have anything to do with them, I'm going to relinquish my own title and be a private citizen, and God help me if my children have anything to do with them by way of titles. But of course, we know that she's a rampant hypocrite, because what she wants is, I want the titles, I want the status, I want the money, but I don't want any of the association or the work that goes with it. Typical of the type of narcissist that she is. Once again, it's demonstrative of the own goals that Harry's wife repeatedly scores, which demonstrates her mid-range narcissism. You see, by accepting these titles or insisting upon their use, it makes a mockery of her claims of racism, which demonstrates, of course, that there was no substance to begin with in relation to them. Not only do we know that those claims were false, but it also shows that she herself doesn't take them seriously, because if she did, she wouldn't insist upon the use of these titles. Moreover, it also demonstrates her selfishness, because these titles won't mean anything in the United States whatsoever. On the contrary, it will actually mean Not only will the lives of their children be more difficult as a consequence of the use of these titles, but it'll also mean more Americans will think to themselves, what on earth are you doing? Why are you using these titles for children who have nothing to do with the British royal family? And therefore, it will once again make Harry's wife look stupid. It shows that her allegations of racism were groundless. It shows that she will turn one way or the other in order to get what she wants. And it's demonstrative of her absence of emotional empathy because of what she's now inflicted upon her children. It shows that the way that her narcissism operates in the moment, namely, I want these titles because it makes me look good and it enables me subconsciously to assert control over these people, without any due regard, because her narcissism doesn't care about this, for the collateral consequences that are then caused. She announces all of this on International Women's Day, where basically she embraces the fact that her daughter is to be known as a princess, using a royal title that is hereditary and is simply bestowed upon a person by accident of birth. There's no effort involved, no achievements, typical of what Harry's wife requires. Furthermore, I understand that the christening took place at a place which was 2 hours away from where they lived. So therefore, as usual, it's taking a plane and being another environmental hypocrite, having staff and security all involved in that, and having a bishop, the grandiosity of it all, having a bishop perform the service. But apparently, there's a church of the same denomination just 5 minutes from their home. So why didn't they go there to have Lilibet christened? Because, of course, Harry's wife is wanting to ensure that there is attention brought to this announcement for the purposes, as always, of asserting control and drawing fuel. This activity on her part just demonstrates how much of a narcissist that she is. It shows her sense of entitlement, the lack of emotional empathy, the lack of accountability for her behaviours, the manipulative ways of triangulation, demonstrates her grandiosity and haughty behaviours. Of course, you all know that she's a narcissist, but this just again demonstrates what she is, but also allows so many of you to see that her narcissism keeps giving her away and demonstrates what an absolute hypocrite she is. And of course, that old ginger bollocks, her captive, still goes along with all of this because he simply cannot see. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.